There are many traditions that help families, and there are many traditions that don't help families, and we're not even aware of it. Here in this video, I talk about traditions that are hindering, and then traditions that you can start that are going to benefit you and your family. Watch the video. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Frank Quiñiguez. I am the ambassador of reading, and today's topic is about traditions, and it's going to be focused on our children because I've been thinking about it. How can we as a team make a contribution to our children? I mean, we've done so much with our channel as far as finances and taking care of the thoughts and the books and stuff like that. But then I thought, what about our children? So this one is dedicated to our children. What traditions are we transferring from one generation to the next generation? And I don't know if this is in your case, but this is in my case. And I talked to a few other people. Hey, how did it go with you when you were growing up? How did it go with you when you were growing up? And this is one of the traditions that came up for me that I was already transferring to my children. And I'm glad that I went into education and they taught us about nutrition and taking care of healthy bodies and stuff like that. I remember that my mother, well, there were 9 of us, so I don't blame my mother. I'm sure she got transferred that information into her head, and then she transferred it over to our head, where she would serve us. And my mother, to the best of her knowledge, she would serve us on a regular plate and then put it in front of us, and then she would say, you got to finish it. And maybe our stomachs were small and we were stretching them, and she didn't know about stretching our stomachs. And we were probably full, but she would always tell us, you're not going to waste my money. You're not going to waste the money. I paid for that food, so you got to finish it. So we got used to finishing everything on our plate, everything. So when we're done, the plate is empty. It's completely wiped out. Now here we go, my wife and I, we have our children, and my wife, pretty much, there's 11 in her family. I could only imagine her mother allowing them to throw away the food. No, they're going to finish it too. And I'm sure they got transferred from our grandparents to them, from them to us. So now here we are. We're going to pass on that tradition of finishing everything on the plate. Well, our stomachs they say that your stomach is as big as your fist, but it stretches like a balloon. It stretches. So the more you put into it, the more it stretches. You put more, it stretches more. And that's why people get overweight, because they're putting more every time. So the more they put, the more it stretches. So you don't want to stretch your child's stomach too much. You know, you feed that baby accordingly. Get a small plate for them. And they could finish what's on the plate if it's a small plate, but don't expect them to finish everything on their plate when it's big. So small portions. If they want more, well, they can get a little more, but don't serve that much and expect them to finish it. When they're done, if they say they're done, I remember when our kids would say, oh, I'm full, and their plate looked completely like untouched. My wife, usually it wouldn't be my wife, no, you're going to finish more. And I would, we'd remind each other, both of us are teachers, we'd remind each other, wait a minute, just a little bit at a time. I would negotiate with my children. Okay, well, take 3 more spoonfuls, and they would do little small spoonfuls. I wanted to just, but I knew I had to be patient. I had to be calm. Or take another 3 bites, and they go, just take a little bite. But slowly but surely, if you can watch them. If they've already had a little bit of meat and they drank some of the milk and they had a little bit of the bread or the tortillas, then pretty much they're going to be fine. Anyway, so that's one. And then, how would you say it? Snacks or treats. Treats should be a treat, like once in a while. It should be a treat. It shouldn't be every day. I remember when we started noticing about our children and the treats, or actually it's junk food. When you get the chips and you get the soda, you get the ice cream, the donuts, the chocolates, all that is junk food, and it's not going to serve your children. And if you're not in awareness of what you're feeding your children, and when you are feeding your children, chances are they're going to have a transformation into something that you don't want, and they're not going to be happy with. So if you get them when they're small and you're in awareness of feeding them fruits and vegetables instead of soda, water, or milk, it's going to benefit your children. I remember Paola, our youngest daughter, we love donuts, right? And she would go, Daddy, can we go get donuts? And I'd be, yeah, let's go get some donuts. And then a day later, hey, let's go get donuts. And then I realized this is not going to be a good tradition for my children to adopt. This is not going to be something good. So I had to negotiate with my daughter. I think she might have been 3 or 4. She was little. And I said, hey, Paola, it's not wise to have donuts every day. I'm a little bit older, so if I eat too much donuts, I could get sick. And I don't want to be sick, and I don't want you to grow up and be sick either. We can have donuts, but it can't be every day. We can have a donut day. And she goes, well, okay, so what day are we going to have donuts? I said, I don't know. What do you think? Maybe Friday? She goes, okay, we'll have donuts on Friday. So we called it Donut Friday. And so she was so smart, Paola, that she learned her days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. She would go, hey, Daddy, today's Monday. And she'd go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, yeah, 4 more days for donuts. Yeah, and she would get so excited. And then donut day on Friday, she would come up, and no negotiations at that time. She would say, it's Donut Friday. Let's go, Daddy. And we would go get the donuts. And what do they call it? Baker's dozen, which is actually 13. I would go, oh my gosh, that's a lot of donuts. Sometimes I would get the box donuts, because I didn't want to bring too many donuts home. But she made it a Donut Friday. So it was our tradition to have donuts on Friday. But you see, I negotiated donuts on Friday instead of every other day or every day having a donut. I could only imagine how she would have turned out, or what would have happened to me if I had a donut every day. Plus the pan dulce, plus ice cream maybe, stuff like that. So being awareness, also in our community, in many families, they eat and they bring soda to the table. Soda for everything. I remember my nutrition teacher at the university, she said, in the United States, everything is sweet. And I was like, no, what about tacos? They're not sweet. She goes, you may think they're not sweet, but many people follow the bite with a sip of soda, and it becomes sweet. So people get addicted to the sweets. I go, oh, wow, I never thought about it. So one of the things that we did in my immediate family with my wife, Pat, and then Adam, Nick, and Paola, is that we wouldn't buy soda. Occasionally, when we did have the burger and the fries, it would be a burger for everybody, and then 2 orders of fries. And maybe we had soda. It was 1 soda for all 5 of us, but not a soda for each. I sometimes sit and watch, and there's little babies, because they say, well, for 25 cents, you get the large one. You don't want to do that. You're going to really hinder your kids. You know, I sometimes sit and watch, and it's like big burger with big fries with a big soda. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a 5-6-year-old. They're not going to finish it. They only need a few fries. They don't really need the whole soda, maybe a sip or nothing at all, preferably nothing at all. What you can do too, if you want to have drinks on the table, get some water, get a little bit of lemon, just a little bit of sugar, and have some lemonade. And that's a tradition to hand over to the next generation, or water by itself. Now, in our community, too, tortillas, it's okay to have a couple of tortillas, but some people, they eat 10, 12, 14 tortillas. Eventually, it'll catch up to them. That's too many tortillas. And then I'm going to conclude it with 2 more things. The 1-bite rule. The 1-bite rule contributed to my family in a way that I'm very grateful. I learned it at the university, where the teacher said, bring whatever food you want to share, and we're all going to try it, and we're going to do the 1-bite rule. So when you have different cultures in one classroom, you're going to have different foods. Now, you don't have to like the food, but allow your mouth to taste it. So I brought it home with me, and I would tell my kids, it's okay not to like something. It's okay, but not because you look at it, you go, oh, I don't like it. It looks such and such. No, or not because you touch it. No, or the way it feels. you gotta take a bite. So this is a 1 bite rule. Okay, here we go. You may want to try this with your kids. My kids are fully grown now, 30, 28, and 21, and we travel to different places. We taste different foods, and I'm grateful to the 1 bite rule. The 1 bite rule goes like this: you get a napkin, and here's your kid or your little baby, and you go, okay, you don't have to eat it. You just got to do the 1 bite rule to allow your mouth to taste it, and eventually you may like it or not, and it's okay. So they take a bite and they chew it 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then they're allowed to spit it out in a napkin, and you throw it away and you leave them alone. And I remember they didn't like tomato at one time. Well, my 2 boys grew up and they love tomato, and Paola didn't like tomato. Okay, Paola, that's fine. You don't have to like tomato, but do me a favor. Let's do the 1 bite rule. So she would take it, 3 spits, and she would look at me, and she could do it every time. And I would just throw it away, get rid of the tomato. I would eat the tomato, and then I would pretend I was strong. So the 1 bite rule. Now that they're grown up, sometimes she comes home with food that I'm like, oh, I don't know about that one. Hey, Daddy, 1 bite rule. I do the 1 bite rule, I spit it out. And I would tell her, hey, I allowed you to spit it out. I can spit it out too. The conclusion with the tomato, one time she takes a bite and she does a 1 bite, 2 bites, 3 bites, and she swallows. She swallowed it. And I go, Paula, what happened? She goes, oh, I've been spitting it too long. I'm just going to swallow it this time. And then she continued eating the tomato. She ate about half of the tomato and she goes, okay, I've had enough. And I go, okay, I'll have it. And I ate it. So it allows children to try different foods. You know, it's so sad when I hear, oh, he can only eat cheeseburgers or burgers or chicken nuggets, nothing else. With ketchup, that's it. Oh my gosh, they're limiting those kids for everything. They go to a different country or they do a trip and there's nothing else to eat. They're not going to be able to eat. But if you teach them the 1 bite rule, it allows them to to taste different things and enjoy different things and eat different foods. So that's the 1 bite rule. A tradition in my family is to wake up, go to the kitchen, have a glass of water, and at night before you go to sleep, have a glass of water. I remember my babies were small, and I would get my glass of water and I would drink it, and I would go, for my health. And she would get her cup and she would go, for my health. And it looked so cool. And now I see them, they're older, and they go to the kitchen, they get their water, and I go, wow, it was worth it. It was worth the effort. I'm sure it's going to be worth your effort when they're growing up nice and healthy. The last one is exercise. If you don't use it, you lose it. So it's going to benefit you and it's going to benefit them. When you go to take them to the park, let them run around. If the kids are misbehaving at home, breaking a vase or writing on the walls or causing you trouble, they're sending you a message that says, I need to release some of this energy. So take them to the park, take them to the swings. You can walk around with them, let some of that energy out, and they're going to be cool. So traditions that are going to benefit our children. What traditions did you pick up from your parents that they picked up from their parents that are not beneficial, such as having soda with every meal? That's a horrible, horrible tradition. So you may want to cut that one. What other traditions does your family have that are not going to be beneficial? If you're watching a channel like this, you're looking for information that's going to be beneficial. So if it's not a tradition that's going to help you, cut it out. So the tradition that we have in our family is that when it's my birthday, I choose the restaurant. All 5 of us go and enjoy a moment. Just the choice of restaurant is mine, and then we all 5 enjoy. And then when it's his or hers, they choose, and we all go and enjoy. We don't invite cousins or friends or anybody else. It's just us 5. And I love that tradition because eventually, now that they're older, it allows only us 5 to share our ideas. What's up? How are you doing? What's coming up? And stuff like that. And that's a good tradition. What tradition are you going to start with your family that they're going to remember? They're going to go, oh yeah, that's something that we do in our family. In our family, water, and then the restaurant, eating fruits and vegetables every day, and exercising. Now that they're older, all 3 of them go to the gym. My wife and I, we walk. I announced that I was going to walk 500 miles in the year 2021, and I'm currently at over 320, I think. So I think just good traditions. Bring some good traditions that you think are going to benefit them, your children, for the rest of their lives. Very well, we're going to call it at that. I hope you enjoyed it, and you share it, and you let other families learn about the One Bite Rule and healthy traditions. Till next time, your friend, the Ambassador of Reading, wishing you well today and always, knowing that you will find and get what you are looking for. Thank you for watching our channel, and congratulations for making it here, where we give information that benefits the individual that's watching and their loved ones. I invite you to subscribe and be part of our channel, set the notifications, and watch the new videos. Thank you and welcome.